Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello friends, how are you today? I hope you are fine and great today. We are Siti Khoiriyah and Djuhariyyah Nawang Hamukti. In this video, we will explain about clause. And let's get started. And the first material is definition of clause. Clause is a sentence that consists of subject and predicate but does not stand alone, but instead becomes a complement to other sentence. Jadi, clause adalah sebuah kalimat yang terdiri dari subjek dan predikat, akan tetapi tidak dapat berdiri sendiri melainkan menjadi pelengkap dari kalimat lainnya. And the next material is independent clause. Independent clause is a clause that can actually stand on its own without additional clause. Actually, independent clause can also be referred to as a sentence. However, because it was later covered by another clause, the name changed to independent clause. Jadi, independent clause itu sebenarnya bisa berdiri sendiri tanpa tambahan clause lainnya. Akan tetapi karena kemudian disandari oleh clause lain, maka sebutannya menjadi independent clause. And for example, in the sentence, she does know where to share her feelings. Di dalam contoh tersebut, kata she doesn't know menjadi independent clause, sedangkan kata yang di bold adalah dependent clause. Sebab tanpa kata where to share her feelings, kata she doesn't know tetap bisa dimengerti. Sedangkan kata where to share her feelings adalah independent clause-nya. And the next material is dependent clause. Dependent clause is a clause that cannot stand alone, even though it has a complete subject and predicate. The dependent clause still needs an independent clause so that it can be understood. Sebagai contohnya, dalam contoh pada kalimat sebelumnya, itu she doesn't know where to share her feelings. Dependent clause pada kalimat itu berbunyi where to share her feelings. Tidak dapat dipahami jika tidak didahului dengan kata atau kalimat she doesn't know.
The next material is noun clause. A noun clause functions as a noun in a sentence. Unlike noun phrases, noun clauses contain both a subject and a verb. Jadi, noun clause di sini berfungsi sebagai sebuah noun di dalam sebuah kalimat. Tidak seperti noun phrases, noun clauses itu mengandung subject dan verb. The example, noun I bought a car, pronoun I bought it. Noun clause, the car that I bought is expensive. Move to the next slide, forms of noun clause. The first one, noun clause form statement. The form is that plus S plus V plus O or C. S here is subject, V is verb, O is object, and C is complement. The examples, Billy's friend didn't know that he couldn't swim. That he couldn't swim here is a noun clause. That he is still alive is a miracle. That he is still alive here also a noun clause. The second form, noun clause from yes or no question. The form is whether or if plus subject plus verb plus object plus or not. The first example, has she lunch? I don't know if she has lunch or not. If she has lunch or not is a noun clause. And the second example, where does Andy live? I wonder if he lives in West Jakarta. If he lives in West Jakarta here is a noun clause. The third form, noun clause from information question. The form is QW ever plus subject plus verb. QW here is question words. The question words are how, what, whatever, when, where, which, whichever, who, whoever, whom, whomever, and why. The examples, whoever comes will get money. Whoever comes here is a noun clause. And the second, I don't know when she will go. When she will go here is a noun clause. The next slide is most common roles of noun clause. The first one, subject of a sentence. A noun clause can act as the subject of a sentence. The noun clause itself performs the action in a sentence. Jadi, dalam sebuah kalimat, noun clause itu bisa berperan sebagai subjek. For example, what Alicia said made her friends cry. What Alicia said here is a noun clause and act as the subject. How the boy behaved was not very polite. How the boy behaved is a noun clause and act as the subject. The second, object of a verb. Just like all nouns, noun clauses can act as the direct object of a verb. They follow verbs to inform the reader where the action is going. For example, the pharmacist checked that the prescription was correct. That the prescription was correct here is a noun clause. He didn't know why the stove wasn't working. Why the stove wasn't working is a noun clause and act as an object of a verb. The third, subject complement. A noun clause can also serve as a subject complement. A subject complement modifies, describes, or completes the subject of a clause. Examples, Charlie's problem was that she didn't practice enough. Harry's crowning achievement at school was when he became class president. The fourth, adjective complement. A noun clause can also function as an adjective complement. These noun clauses complement an adjective or adverb. For example, it's very disappointing that you left the party early. Disappointing here is an adjective and followed by a noun clause that you left the party early. The second, they are perfectly happy where they live now. Happy here is an adjective and followed by a noun clause where they live now. The last role is object of preposition. Noun clauses also act as objects of a preposition in prepositional phrase. Examples, Harry is not the best provider of what Margie needs. And the second, Josephine is not responsible for what Alex decided to do. Let's see before the noun clause. Before the noun clause, there is a preposition of and for. The next material is adjective clause. An adjective clause, also known as a relative clause, is a type of dependent clause that works to describe a noun in a sentence. It functions as an adjective even though it is made up of a group of words instead of just one word. Adjective clauses begin with a relative pronoun which connects them to the word they describe, such as that, where, when, who, whom, whose, which, and why. The examples: chocolate, which many people adore, is fattening. Which many people adore here is an adjective clause. People who are smart follow the rules. I can remember the time when cell phones didn't exist. The next material is adverb clause. Adverb clause means a word or sentence consisting of a subject and a verb which then functions as a complement in a sentence. Often the adverb clause becomes an important element in a sentence in explaining important things that support an event, such as where the incident occurred, why the event occurred, how much influence was given to it, and how it happened. The next is forms of adverb clause. The form is subordinate conjunction plus S plus V. S is subject and V is verb. Subordinate conjunctions, namely after, before, until, since, while, although, as, because, so that, provide, if, when, where, why, and how, and etc. S is a subject that you can use in the form of a noun, pronoun, or noun phrase, and V is a verb which you can use in the form of main or auxiliary verbs. The example: when she walked, she found a lot of stuff. When she walked here is an adverb clause. If Sam calls, please tell him that I will be late. If Sam calls here, also an adverb clause. Okay, I think that's all from our explanations about clause. Thank you so much for your attention, and thank you so much for watching this video. See you next time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.